Welcome back, musical architects. Knowing a few tools really well in a DAW like Logic Audio can save you a lot of time when it comes to editing your songs and finishing them. Logic has two audio editors that can help you with that. In this video, I want to break down the track editor and the audio file editor, and the difference between destructive and non-destructive editing, and how you can utilize this for your song. Check it out. Welcome back. There are many ways you can edit audio. In the last couple of videos, we looked at some of these tools to speed up our process. But as your arrangement grows, it's getting harder and harder to do things out here. It's a constant zooming in and zooming out to adjust things when you want to get things done. And that's why Apple implemented two editors, so you don't have to zoom in all the time. If you click E for editor, it gives you a magnified view of what's going on here. And I want to take a look at the track editor first, and then the file editor and how they compare and what they do differently. So let's say you're working on a track and you need to double check the timing of a file. Let's say I play this and I realize something with the guitar is not quite right. So instead of soloing and zooming in here, I'm going to double click this guitar here and my track editor opens up. If not, switch on the track editor and I want to hear what this guitar is. So right now, any highlighted, I might make this a little bit bigger here, any highlighted region, you can play right here and it solos that region and cycles it. So you can make sure that's the one you want. Or is it this one? No, it's this one. So perfect. I want to edit this region. What can I edit right here? Number one, there are click zones. You don't have to switch the tool as much because when I go in here, if I go to the bottom right corner or bottom left corner, I can simply resize the region. That's obvious. But what's different is when I click in the lower half, it becomes automatically the marquee tool. So if I wanted to cut something out, say I wanted to cut this out, I can do this without changing the tool by simply going over the lower half of the editor. I can also double click and say I wanted to have this last chord a little earlier. I can cut it, double click in the lower half. Let's say I'm going to drag this over here. And now by going over this, I can create a fade without changing my tool either. Grab the top right, grab the top left, or the middle of it in between, and then you can create a crossfade or fade in, fade out. Just drag it left and right and experiment with that. So all that stuff is built in here. On top of that, we have flex time right here, Command F, or click on this flex button, and I could adjust the timing right here without having to mess with this up here and zoom in a lot. Once I've done my flex edits, I could go a step further and say, what is my automation doing? I want to create another fade here on this. And instead of going up here, I can do this in more magnified version. That's pretty handy. So it's great for any edits that are non-destructive. Non-destructive means simply, if I cut something out, I can undo them. So let's say by accident, delete this or make an edit that's not so good. It's still there. I simply have to drag it back out. The file hasn't been altered. That brings me to my next editor. If you click W or File Editor here, you have an editor that lets you do some permanent edits on the file. Why would you want to do that? Let's say we have a sound effect here. Here's a little vocal file. And let's see what this sounds like by itself. I'm going to double click it and play it in the track editor, and you can hear this little vocal effect. If you want to hear where it's coming from, though, this is routed through a bunch of effects. I'm going to go to the file editor, and you see the whole audio file right here. So I play a little. As I got older. That's the end part of that vocal that is routed through effects. And you see the highlighted part is actually what's cut out here. So if I would make this longer, you see how that selection gets longer as well here. I'm going to undo this. So what if I wanted to make this a new file? I don't want to mess up this, so I'm going to bounce this first. I'm going to bounce it, Control B, in place, and I'm going to bounce it with these effects. So include audio effects. Call this vocal effects. I hit OK. Now we have a new audio file. This is the original file. This is just this bit, sounding like this. So now the effect is embedded. Okay, so if I want to do something non-destructive, let's say I want to start a little later and I want to create a different fade in, I could do so here. But again, same thing, but it hasn't changed the file. What if I want to make this a permanent edit? For example, this file now became much longer with the echo trail. What if we shorten it a bit? I want to make this 4 bars long. So I'm going to cut this off. I can do this out here, or as I shown before, I go to bar 5, double click down here and delete this part. But again, non-destructive. I want to make this a permanent 4-bar file. So what do? We go to File, Editor, and we're going to go destructively trim this. And now this has become a perfect 4-bar phrase. That's great if you create loops for live purpose, for example, for drummers and things like that. You don't want them to be a little bit longer than whatever the length of the loop is. I could undo this right now, but only right now because I did it. And I can set how many undos I have in the preferences right here under, I think, audio editing. Let's go a step further. I want to make this a little bit louder. So let's select all. Let's go and normalize this. And if it's a little too loud, I can change the gain also by dB. Let's bring it down a couple dB. And let's reverse this permanently. And now, perfect. Now, we know that the file usually, you see how there's a line when I move it, anchors to the beginning of the phrase. But what if I wanted to have the impact here in the middle of it? This little anchor can be set. For example, if I want this to be my climax and I want this to lock to the grid. Now see where the white line appears, and I could tie this to the middle of a phrase or middle of an audio region as opposed to the beginning. So that's the anchor part here. That's not a destructive edit by any means, but that's just to see where this falls. Finally, we created a new audio file. Let's make this something I can use in a different session. And for me, the easiest way to save not a preset, but a sound is simply creating an Apple loop out of it. Open your loop browser. It looks usually like this. And then simply drag this in here. Name it so you can find it later on. Vocal effects, swell. Coming Home was the title of the song, so I put that in there, and I'm gonna put this in here, give it some attributes, process, dark, intense, sure. Is it a one shot, or is it a looping part? Since I cut it perfectly, I could try make it a loop. If it's just a sound effect, it might just be a one shot. Let's create this. And in future projects, I'm looking for a swell sound. What do? I go to My Loops, and I find this vocal effect right here. And I can use this in future projects. There we go. I hope this makes sense and gives you some other ideas of easy and fast editing in Logic Pro. Thank you very much for watching. Hey, I hope this was helpful. What are your favorite techniques and tricks to edit in Logic Pro? Leave me some comments beneath and I'm curious to hear about it. Stay creative and I see you next time. Thanks for watching. Hey, thanks so much for watching. I hope this made sense and gives you the tools and skills to edit things very quickly in the future without spending much time and messing up your song. If you want to dig deeper, feel free to check out my course where I start from the very beginning of writing a song to the end of production and take you step by step through the process. Thanks so much and have a great day. No matter what, stay unapologetically creative.